Hello, everyone. Leslie here from Balanced Body Studio. I have Sante with me, and he's going to talk a little bit about his experience working through nutrition, what we've been doing together over the last few months. But first off, we did actually start off with working through fascial stretching. So, Sante, you came in with some pretty, bad back pain, essentially, right? That's kind of how you kind of wanted to start, working with somebody to help you with that. And then as you saw the benefits of the fascial stretching, we started to talk about nutrition a little bit more and, the inflammation piece and how, your food also affects how you're physically going to feel. So, what made you decide to really dive deep? This was back in April, I think it was when we started with the nutrition. So, what were kind of your reasons for getting going with this program in terms of the nutrition part?
I think a lot of it had to do with just overall general physical well-being, health in general, and then a lot of it was related to, as it got more into, it was related to the inflammation side of it. I was very curious about because again, stretching and working out never seemed to always reduce it enough. And then
Yeah,
I guess when talking to you and dealing with you, the inflammation side of it was really the interesting part of how your food would affect that. And I wasn't much of a believer at the
yeah,
beginning, to be quite honest with you. I always thought I ate healthy, like okay, Italian home, and usually
yeah,
it's fresh stuff. We're not buying a lot of processed foods or like that. But yeah, the reality was
yeah,
what was the inflammation side
yeah,
was really what wanted me to look into it further. Um,
yeah,
but then realizing is I wanted to get healthier and stronger, and it wasn't ever really about losing weight. It was about
yeah.
feeling good.
Feeling better, yeah.
Um, yeah, feeling better in general. And that's what really started having me really get fat. I was actually getting very interested in wanting to look into that and dive deeper into it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're kind of unique in the sense that, everybody else that has been kind of giving their testimonials they're just kind of in that foundational piece, the 6 weeks. So we did start with the 6 week kind of gut health program. So what did you learn? We did a juice cleanse, all those things. So what were kind of your biggest takeaways those first, couple months in terms of really diving into learning about gut health and how that's connected to, your brain and how you function that way and just overall well-being?
Yeah, I think what really how I really learned was number one is I guess the juice cleanse really opened my eyes a lot of just how your body is so used to eating a certain way.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's right or wrong, but it's probably more wrong at the time. But
Yeah.
but realizing that you're so used to eating a certain way that if you should just changing that pattern, just changing the way you eat actually has such a significant impact on improving your health in general, like and how you feel.
Okay. So let's
Um,
elaborate on that. So like before you got into this program, how were you feeling
mhm,
versus how are you feeling now? Like what are the biggest wins or your biggest
yeah,
results and improvements that you've had over the last few months?
I think a lot of it had to do with a huge boost in energy.
Hmm.
That was a big part of it. Also, the losing, slimming down. I'm not going to say losing weight. I don't like saying that, but I would say slimming down and actually feeling more fit, feeling
Right.
much more energetic, and this feeling stronger. I think
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
really a good word I'd like to use, right? So.
Yeah.
Um, and then again, the clarity of mind, actually just waking up a lot more like popping out of bed kind of feeling,
Right.
as
Yeah.
opposed to feeling ever sluggish. I'm never feeling
Yeah.
sluggish in the morning.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I would say it's more along feeling the energy
Yeah.
level being such a significant boost.
Yeah.
And then
That's
also the reduction of inflammation too. Like I honestly, not
yeah.
feeling as achy waking
Right.
up was kind of
Yes.
a huge thing. Stiffness is there. I know that, but the achiness of anything like that's just almost gone down to very like nothing.
Yeah. And I think
Essentially.
when you say stiff, I just want to clarify with people, you do work out a lot, right? Too, which is fantastic. We're
Yes.
obviously just talking about the nutrition piece, but
Mhm.
when you start to work out, and I think that's what we were talking about the other day, is you're always going to have some, stiffness, but that's not due to lack of movement. It's just because you're working your muscles, but that's because you want them to grow and you want them to get stronger. But coming with that is just as important as the stretching. And that's what we've talked about before. So, so anybody that does, or is also working out, don't think you're never going to have that muscle soreness, because that's part of, getting stronger is having that. So, but the important thing that you said was the achy is gone. And that's where the inflammation comes in, right? Like people that are achy, it's usually coming from that inflammation. So when you're eating, quite well and you're reducing those inflammatory foods, boosting your immunity, taking care of your microbiome, that stuff goes away, right? So I think you're a really good example of, so because you've been doing this longer term, right? So it's been a good solid 7-8 months that you've been really dialing in with your nutrition. So for anybody that's kind of listening, overall, why would you do this program?
There's a few reasons actually. One is, I guess overall general health well-being is really the biggest part. Yeah. You don't realize how much your system is sitting on a very good state until you go through this process. And the eye opener is going through those. Part was the juice cleanse is a big shot to the head right away. Yeah. It's a very instant impact feeling. You realize your system isn't as healthy as you'd like to think it is, even though you think you're eating clean. And eating clean is actually really important. That was one of the biggest things too as part of this this journey, I guess, or process. But I would say right now, you don't realize how your system is not in the best of state. It can be much better. Just by going through this. And that's the biggest part. Because again, I used to think I was eating very healthy, very clean, and all that stuff. But until going through this process, you didn't realize that no, you actually your system is not in the best of state. It can always be. It actually can be significantly better, and you don't realize that. Or I didn't realize that until going through this.
So this program's not real. It's not really just if you're coming in with major issues. Like even if you think you're doing fine, you're going to get a lot out of it. You're going to still feel way different, and learn what foods really do work for you and which ones don't. Right, and that's the whole process of going through this and creating that lifestyle, which I think you're well on your way. I tell people it takes about a year or two of consistent focus and being aware and doing the right things more often than not to really say it's been a lifestyle change. But I do feel in your case, you're pretty much there. It's kind of like, this is how you want to, eat. This is how you want to live. And it's just because you want to, it's not because you feel like you have to.
Yeah, I'm glad I just said that, because that's the way I look at it. I actually, going into this, I didn't think it was a lifestyle change. It was more that, okay, let me just do the quick fix hit. It'll fix this and then I can just go back to normal. I was like, no, that's not the way it's going to work. And honestly, it is such a much better way to be eating, to be generally looking at health and as a general thing. But it is a lifestyle change, and it's great. I just knowing going through this, it's like, I'm sticking with this 1000%. There's no question, right? Because I know what it feels like to be on the other end of it, right? So,
exactly. And that's
there's a difference.
And that's it, right? Like it's just your food does really fuel you, right? And it does either move you forward or move you backwards. I always say that to my clients. It's it can do both, right? Food is very powerful, and that's at the end of it. That's what I want you guys to learn and realize. Amongst all the other kind of little nuances that you learn in terms of the energy sources and when to eat certain things, but the big picture is the power of food and really how it can affect how you feel on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's the nutrition side of it. It's not. I'm just not eating for the sake of eating. I know why I'm eating that.
Right.
Which is something which it's so hard at the beginning, but once you settle into it, it's like, I know I have to have this at this time, or not consume that. I shouldn't have that. If I do have that, I know what I'm going to expect.
Right. Exactly. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your insight. And, not only have you kind of changed your life in the way that you kind of look at your wellness and all that, but definitely the cool part is that you're also affecting people around you in terms of your family, your friends, and you might not even know that, but people are watching and And you know, you'll slowly start to see other people kind of gravitate towards you and be like, oh, what are you doing? And you know,
Mhm.
I want to feel like you are, right? Because I'm sure, you know, well, I know everybody wants to feel like you are. So awesome
Yeah.
job. And
Okay.
you know, we're gonna
Nice.
keep working at it next year and keep going. Now, the cool part is because you've been doing this so long, now you're kind of getting into that fitness zone and really wanting to dial into even deeper with your workouts and like getting into those little nuances of nutrition, which is going to be really cool to see you go through in the next few months. So again, thank you so
Yeah.
much. I appreciate your
You're
time,
welcome.
and
Yeah.
you know, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, because we're at Christmas season, and
Merry Christmas
we'll
to you too.
see. We'll get back at it when I get back. Thanks, Sante.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and no
Appreciate it.
worries. And yeah, and again, guys, if you have any questions about the program, please go to my video where I explain the details of the whole 6-week process. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.